The fire crackled, sending orange flickers dancing across the cave walls. He lounged against the crate, chewing on the last scraps of his ration bar. He was sick of processed protein. This planet had an entire ecosystem teeming with life, big, juicy, edible life, so why the hell was he still eating synthetic slop? Not tonight. He smirked, stretching his arms. All right, dinner, come to daddy. The makeshift fishing line jerked violently. His eyes gleamed. Whatever was on the other end was big. It thrashed, nearly yanking the pole from his grip. Oh, this was it. A fat, alien fish, probably loaded with sweet, succulent meat. He braced himself, muscles straining as he reeled it in. The creature burst from the water, slick, firm, and unnervingly warm. Damn. That was one thick fish. He grinned. Oh yeah, you're gonna taste amazing roasted. It squirmed violently in his grasp, limbs flailing. Wait, limbs? A gasp. Not from him. The fish lifted its head, glowing eyes wide with confusion. Lush, plush lips parted as it, she, shivered against his chest. His brain screeched to a halt. The alien woman blinked up at him, her body pressed against his, dripping wet. Why did you hurt me? 1,000 thoughts collided. He stared at her soft curves, her silken skin, the way she shuddered as water dripped down her chest. Then, with slow horror, he realized where his hands were. He dropped her. She yelped, landing with a splash. He staggered back, hands raised like he just committed intergalactic war crimes. I swear, I thought you were a fish. Silence. She blinked, bewildered. Then, her expression shifted. You grabbed me. He gulped. I can explain. Her gaze lowered. She stared at his hands. Then his pole. The fishing pole. His only fishing pole. Her lips parted in understanding. A single droplet of water trailed down her neck. A long, tense pause. And then, her face flamed. You just took me out like some helpless catch? Without asking? It's not like that, he blurted, waving his arms. I was just trying to eat. Her gasp echoed. He froze. She clutched herself, eyes wide with scandal. You wanted to eat me? He made a sound that was neither human nor dignified. No, not like that. She scrambled to her feet, breathless, trembling. Why you humans, so bold? His hands shot up. This is a mistake. A misunderstanding. She wasn't listening. Her fingers hovered near her throat. Her gills fluttered. A deep blush spread across her exotic features. You yanked me into your world, she whispered, a strange tremor in her voice. He had a bad feeling. Her fingers touched her lips. That means you've claimed me. His soul left his body. Claimed? I just wanted food. Her blush deepened. So you do desire me? He opened his mouth. Closed it. Reopened it. Somewhere, a cosmic force was laughing at him. She stepped closer, eyes locked on his. His survival instincts screamed at him to run. Look. He edged back. There's gotta be a cultural difference here. Maybe where you're from, yanking someone out of water means, I dunno, ownership? But where I'm from, it's just marriage, she whispered. His entire body seized. She gasped, covering her mouth. Oh no. I just said it outright. He needed oxygen. Said what outright? She peeked up at him, biting her lip. You've proposed to me. The stars above had never heard a louder scream. She watched him with wide, expectant eyes as if waiting for him to drop to one knee and produce a ring. He, on the other hand, looked ready to throw himself back into the river and pray something worse swallowed him whole. He shook his head violently. No. That is not what happened. I wasn't proposing. I was fishing. She tilted her head. For a mate? For actual food? A pause. Her gills fluttered. So you admit you wanted to eat me? His eye twitched. No. I was fishing for, ugh. Never mind. Just forget all of this. You're free. Go back to wherever you came from. She gasped. Why, you're rejecting me? He threw his hands up. I never accepted you. Her face crumpled, her lower lip trembling. Oh no. No, 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 no. He could handle a lot of things, but crying women? Alien or not? That was a death sentence. She sniffled, eyes shimmering. But you pulled me out. You looked at me like you wanted me. His throat went dry. I was just shocked, okay? I thought you were a damn fish. That's not my fault. Her entire body turned a shade darker, her markings glowing faintly. So, you wanted me, then rejected me, and now you're saying I was just a mistake? He felt the trap close around him. No, see, when you say it like that, it sounds bad. She sniffed harder. Then how am I supposed to feel? I was just floating peacefully, dreaming about my future mate, and then. Her hands clutched her chest. A strong, muscular warrior grabbed me so firmly, held me so tightly against his warm, broad chest. He paled. I could feel your heartbeat, she squeaked. I thought I had been chosen. His eye twitched. Lady, I was just trying to make dinner. Her blush deepened. She peeked up at him through her lashes. Dinner? His gut twisted. Oh no. That word had landmines all over it. Her lips parted slightly. You wanted me for dinner? He wheeled back. Not like that. Her eyes widened. Oh my. She fanned herself. Humans really are as intense as the stories say. What? She clutched her wet, clinging attire. Is this how human courtship works? You take what you want. Pull us from the depths and claim us with strong, rough hands? His soul was actively dying. Her voice dipped. If you were hungry for me, why didn't you just say so? His brain blue-screened. He backed up so fast he nearly tripped over his own damn campfire. Okay, time out. Time out. This is all one big horrible misunderstanding. I don't want a mate, I don't want a wife, I just want a peaceful meal that doesn't talk back. Her eyes twinkled. So you prefer your mate silent? His groan was unholy. All right, I see what's happening here. There's some cultural difference. Let's work through this. Slowly. Carefully. He exhaled sharply, trying to sound calm. I get that in your species, pulling someone out of the water means claiming them. Right? She nodded innocently. Yes. It's the most sacred tradition of my people. Of course it was. Great. Okay. So in my culture, that's not how things work. It was just a fishing accident. That's all. She squinted. You mean you didn't mean to claim me? Correct. So, you regret pulling me out? Yes. Her eyes dimmed. Oh, great. Now he felt like a monster. He pinched the bridge of his nose. Look. I'm sure you're a wonderful fish lady. Seaborn goddess, she corrected, offended. Right. That. But I'm not looking for whatever this is. I just need you to go back home and pretend this never happened. We cool? Her lips pursed. Then, very quietly, I can't go back. His stomach dropped. What? She squirmed slightly. Well, you see, being pulled from the water is a binding ritual. If I return now, my people will see me as... She hesitated, then looked at him shyly. Used? His soul left his body. What? Her blush deepened. Once a female is chosen, she is meant to remain with her mate. If she is discarded, she is no longer pure. His jaw unhinged. Lady, I didn't. There was no choosing. I was just fishing. She wrung her hands. You mean I should return in shame? No. I mean, damn it. She bit her lip. Then, you'll keep me? I can't keep you, you're not a pet. She gasped, horrified. Do you see me as an animal? He slammed his hands over his face. No. That's not what I. Why is every word I say making this worse? She looked close to tears again. I don't know what to do. You pulled me from the depths, you held me so firmly, and now you say it meant nothing? She sniffled. You humans are so cruel. His chest ached. She wasn't faking this. She genuinely believed she was trapped. For the first time, he hesitated. He groaned, running a hand down his face. Okay. Let's say I help you. She perked up. You'll take responsibility? I didn't say that. She tilted her head. Then what will you do with me? His brain screamed for help. The answer? He had no damn clue. Her wide eyes locked onto his, anticipation written all over her face. He shifted uncomfortably, running a hand through his hair, suddenly aware of how intensely she was staring at him. Look, let's just take a step back, he muttered. Figure out how to fix this without anyone getting married or... She gasped. You want to delay the bonding? He choked. There's no bonding. Her gills fluttered, her gaze dropping. Oh. I see. No, you don't. You must think I'm undesirable. That's not... too scaly? What? No. Not soft enough for human standards? His face burned. She lifted his hand and pressed it to her thigh. He stopped breathing. Her skin was smooth, almost too warm, yet beneath it, he felt the firm muscle, strong, supple, dangerously close to where his brain was currently throwing red alarms. Her voice dropped. Do I not feel pleasing to you? His soul exited his body. WHOA, okay, time out. He ripped his hand away like he'd been burned, backing up so fast he nearly tripped. What the hell was that? She blinked innocently. A compatibility test. He pinched the bridge of his nose. Compatibility, what? Her lips twitched. I needed to see if you'd react. I reacted just fine, thank you very much. She tilted her head. Not a rejection, though. He pointed furiously. Stop twisting my words. Her smirk grew. I didn't twist them, you just don't know how to use them properly. He felt like his entire existence was being unraveled. This was not how things were supposed to go. She stepped closer. He took 2 steps back. She took 3 forward. His back hit the cave wall. Her eyes gleamed. Why are you running? I'm not running. Then why do you look so flustered? He pointed aggressively. You need boundaries. She lifted a delicate brow. A moment ago, I thought I was unwanted. Now you're worried about boundaries? He clenched his fists. Because you're not listening. I just want things to go back to normal. Her fingers traced his jaw. Normal for who? He was going to die. Her lips parted slightly, and she leaned in, too close, too slow, like she was savoring every second of his mounting panic. Then she stopped. She murmured. He could barely think. What? She tapped her chin, studying him. You're resisting very well. I'm not. But you're not leaving. Because you have me pinned. She hummed. Strange. Humans usually follow their instincts when they desire something. His voice cracked. I don't desire. She tilted her head. You're sweating. He was. Damn this hot cave. Damn her alien mind games. Damn himself. I'm just stressed. Her eyes twinkled. I can relieve stress. He actually gagged. Lady. She pressed a cool finger to his lips. Hush. You talk too much for someone trying to resist. His brain short-circuited. Then she did the worst thing possible. She grinned. Like a damn predator. Let's make a deal. She purred. He was terrified. I don't want any deals. She ignored him. Since you're so unwilling to accept your role, I will allow you one final chance to prove you have no interest in keeping me. His heart skipped. Yes. Great. I like this plan. Fantastic plan. Her smile widened. But if you fail... His stomach twisted. Defined fail. She leaned closer, whispering against his ear. Then you'll have to accept your claim. His entire body seized. What do I have to do? He asked slowly. She grinned. Survive my test. He gulped. What kind of test? Her eyes gleamed. You'll see. He stared at her, unblinking. What kind of test? She didn't answer. Instead, she reached for him. He flinched. Nope. Absolutely not. I've seen enough weird alien rituals to know where this is going. Her fingers brushed against his wrist. He barely had time to react before a strange warmth spread through his skin. A tingling sensation coiled around his muscles, not painful, but different. His stomach lurched. What the hell was that? She smiled. A bond mark. His pulse spiked. A what? Relax, she purred. It's only temporary, unless you fail. His brain went into overdrive. You can't just do that. You agreed to my test. I agreed to nothing. I was tricked. She gave him a pleased look. Then you better focus. If you win, the mark will fade. If you lose... She let the implication hang. He groaned. What do I have to do? She tapped her chin. Something that proves your resistance. Since you claim you have no attraction to me, let's see how well you can endure my presence. His stomach dropped. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Sit. His jaw clenched. I'm not a damn pet. She raised a brow. Disobeying already? He gritted his teeth, reluctantly sitting. She stepped closer. Too close. No, she murmured. You must endure 1 full minute without reacting to me. No tension. No flinching. No distractions. He exhaled slowly. Fine. She tilted her head. Oh? Confident now? He forced a smirk. I've survived worse. Her lips curled. Let's test that theory. Then she leaned in. Not in a slow, seductive way, no, this was worse. She was casual, unbothered, like she had all the time in the universe. Her warm breath tickled his skin, her fingers trailing dangerously close to places that had no business being involved in this game. His entire body locked up. She pretended not to notice. Oh? She mused. Tense already? I'm fine. He gritted out. She made a soft noise of amusement. Impressive. Most human males would have cracked by now. His jaw ached from clenching so hard. You know, she murmured, your heartbeat is very loud. He squeezed his eyes shut. I'm controlling it. She leaned closer. Are you? He refused to break. He wasn't losing to some alien temptress with smug energy. Then she did something unforgivable. She grazed her lips near his ear, not touching, but just close enough that his brain short-circuited. His breath hitched. Her grin was instant. Ah. There it is. His soul collapsed. That doesn't count, he snapped. She hummed. Oh, I think it does. He opened his mouth to argue, then realized too late that her hand had already moved. Lower. Okay, you're cheating. Am I? Yes. Her smug grin deepened. You seem awfully focused on my methods. His face burned. Because you're pulling crap that shouldn't be allowed. She shrugged. If you were truly unaffected, this wouldn't bother you. He groaned. You're impossible. You're losing. His eye twitched. 30 seconds left. Her voice dropped. You're very sturdy for a human. He hated how that sentence made his brain short-circuit. I train, he said stiffly. I noticed. Her fingers ghosted over his arm. So many tense muscles. That's because you're doing this on purpose. She smiled sweetly. I would never. He exhaled sharply. I swear if you weren't. Weren't what? She asked innocently. He nearly bit his tongue. 10 seconds. Still resisting? She murmured. He refused to give in. 5 seconds. She leaned in, voice barely above a whisper. You should have just eaten me. His brain exploded. Time ran out. The bond mark glowed. He looked down at his wrist in horror. What the? Why is it still there? She beamed. Because you failed. I did not fail. She tapped his chest. You reacted. He sputtered. What? No. She shrugged. A deal is a deal. His hands curled into fists. This was rigged. She smiled coyly. You just weren't prepared. His blood boiled. What the hell happens now? She tilted her head. Now? A soft purr. You're mine. His scream echoed through the cave.